What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what's really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid's down 0.21%, nothing overly crazy. 240 the low, 249 the high, but you're seeing very low volume. So 21.8 million shares being traded, 163 is the average. So every time you have these kind of lower volume days, you're going to see more of these crazy swings. But during the pre-market, you did see things looking pretty good. It had a high of 250, and that was because of Wall Street really digesting what happened on Friday and largely considering it maybe overdone. And plus, on a side note, because of all the negative data that did come out, now you have a roughly about a 83.8% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut for the September meeting, and now for the October meeting, a 60.9% likelihood of a following 25 basis point cut. I mentioned this in my video yesterday that eventually the market was going to have some epiphany where it was going to price in all these cuts, and that turns out to happen a lot sooner than I would have anticipated. So that is happening today. But in Lucid's case, you're having shorts increasing roughly around 4 million shares, just over that. And so of course, with lower volume, shorts really active today. This is why it did go down a little bit. On a side note though, looking on the secondary market, you are seeing 3 transactions above $100,000. All are buys. So big money is kind of buying, not a crazy amount, but at least big money is buying Lucid, which is always a good thing. Dark pool is very active as per usual. A lot of this is linked to hedge funds as well as shorting. Only thing that kind of came out today that people are kind of talking about is a new rating. And you already know my viewpoint on Cantor Fitzgerald, Andre Shepard. He seems to now be kind of reiterating his previous targets like almost twice a week. It is absolutely insane. I don't know why he's doing this. I think it's just for popularity, or maybe get Lucid's name out there, because a lot of articles are now kind of bringing like this up as though it's new information. Like, I don't understand how what changes week by week that he needs to continuously reiterate his targets. But this right here kind of goes over some of his viewpoints, so what he's going to be really looking for with the earnings coming out tomorrow. Side note, I'm going to be live streaming that, so I'll do a pre-market video and then I'll do a live stream and kind of cover everything. But one thing that he did bring up that could potentially be causing some fear is this. So potential revision of their annual target, and that is 20,000. As I have also mentioned, I do feel that it should be kind of like between 16 and 18 realistically. So if they do cut, similar to what happened in 2023, it will be in the Q2 earnings. Actually, in 2023 they cut twice. They kind of did lower it and then they cut it again in the third quarter, or at least they added a little bit extra like revisions to that. But nonetheless, I think if there is going to be cuts, it will be this quarter. So again, a lot of high expectations for their earnings. Aside from that though, no news from Lucid, no SEC filings or anything along those lines. Aside from that though, one fun fact that did come out from recent analysis, it says that over the last 1 year, Lucid has beaten earnings per share and also revenue 75% of the time. So again, maybe that's an indication of potentially what could be coming. And this is something that I did mention kind of extensively in my video yesterday, that the bar has been set very, very low for Lucid. And that's largely because of analysts, but that does make it easy for Lucid to beat on earnings per share and revenue. So a lot of importance is placed on the future guidance, because you can kind of see basically how Wall Street does interpret Lucid's earnings. And usually they're not that impressed, as you can kind of see right here, how it's largely red most of the time. So hopefully this time around it'll be a little bit different. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. But aside from that one analyst rating, shorts increasing, there's not really much kind of coming out associated to Lucid. There's 564,000 in calls, 96,000 in puts. So very low dollar value as far as that. So somewhat matching with the common stock. 47% of all the options being done today, though, are bearish in nature. From a bull's standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be above 3. So that's kind of the high end for the optimism, especially encumbering their earnings. And then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 2. So at the end of the day, anticipate a lot of volatility, but with it right now at 242, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So I'm bringing this up only because post earnings, one of these two is most likely going to be touched, whether that be the 260 or 207. So that's going to be the next strong support / resistance points. So let me know your viewpoint on that. But aside from that, there's not really much articles coming out associated to Lucid. We'll have a lot more information pretty much like in 24 hours for the most part. We'll know about the guidance, so whether they're going to stick with that 20,000 or if they're going to lower it. We're just going to have a lot of additional information that we can kind of analyze and see exactly where Lucid is going. But on the actual chart itself, luckily enough, Lucid is holding above both that 50 and also 100-day moving averages. So right here, so 241 is that 100, and then 238 is that 50-day moving average. So despite shorts really increasing and with a lower volume day, Lucid's holding these levels. So that's going to be a key point to really watch for, and most likely that is their target that they want to try to break Lucid by. And that's one thing that they've done time and time again over the last year, is they increase at strategic points to break Lucid on a technical standpoint. So again, that's going to be something to really watch for today, is that 50 and also 100-day moving averages to hold. Side note, stochastic RSI is very oversold, so first sign of positive news, whether it be specific to Lucid or the broader market, you could see a nice push up. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Are you buying? Are you selling? Especially leading into the earnings, are you doing anything? And for those of you that do options, are you hedging? So that's going to be another thing to kind of bring up. One thing that actually was rather interesting is that this new rating didn't really talk about the reverse stock split. So maybe coming from an analyst standpoint, they're not really worried about the reverse stock split. I kind of tend to disagree, but again, that's going to be something that we pay very close attention to, how Mark and kind of the other executives word that. How are they going to be really portraying and selling the reverse stock split? Not like it matters at the end of the day, like I've kind of mentioned in the past, they wouldn't really be proposing it if they didn't get the blessing from the PIF, because the PIF has a majority stake. So as I've kind of signaled, doesn't matter if everyone watching this video, every single retail investor, in fact, and every single institutional investor, let's say everyone voted no. If the PIF votes yes, it doesn't matter. It's going to go through. So again, I think the reverse stock split is actually going to pass. And this is why I'm not really even going to vote with my shares. I don't really see a point in that. But nonetheless, how Lucid does portray that is going to be a big deal as well. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing, pop over to my Discord. It is completely free. A lot of good people talking about stocks, options, crypto, everything that you ever need in life. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.